Hello, welcome to the video. We're going to look at ChatGPT versus a book. Now, I've been doing an example from the Rust in a Month of Lunches by Dave McLeod. I've typed in the example. I tend to type in all the examples rather than copy and paste from like the PDF or from the book's website or what have you. I think you learn a lot more if you actually type it. Anyway, so what this is doing is it's creating a library, a fictitious library. So the struct has the name, which is a string, so that's the name of the library, and it has some books. And the books are a collection, so the book collection, and that is a vector of strings. Well, if you're coming from Python, it's a kind of it's a list of books. Um, so we've got the impl, we've got the if you combine the struct with the impl, that's a bit like a class. I know that's probably quite a controversial thing to say, but anyway. So what what we've used here is the iterator trait to allow us to iterate over the books in the book collection, and we're doing that because it's not a it's not a primitive type. If it was just an I32 or something, we could iterate over it without having to implement the iterator. But book collection, because it's like a custom type, we need to use the iterator. This is the line that I always used to forget. Type If you use Rust Analyzer, you do type item equals, and then you need to look at what the type of the book collection is, and then you see the book collection is a vec of strings. So we're going to use string here, and then that's fine. That compiles. We'll come back to the results in a minute. So the reason the point of this video is actually I was I did the example and then I was asking ChatGPT about while let because it had actually given me some different syntax to use in main. And when I did the example from the book, I had a warning message that I had an unused variable. That's why I wanted ChatGPT just to kind of modify my main so that I could get rid of that warning. When I got rid of the warning, it suggested using while let some book, and I thought, is that the most idiomatic way to do it? Um, and then here we go. I got an apology from ChatGPT, and that was because I'd looked at the book, Rust in the Month of Lunches, page 160, and Dave McLeod had actually used the for, just a standard for loop, which is a lot easier for me to read. The for loop is more idiomatic for iterating over collections because it directly uses the iterator and provides a clear and concise way to handle the items. While let loop, while useful in more complex scenarios, the while let loop is less common for simple iteration over a collection. Right, okay, so in main, this here gives you the same result. So they both work, but it's just that using for is a bit more human readable, I think. We turn off the hints as well. Um, Especially personally coming from Python background, I just find that a lot more kind of intuitive. I'm still struggling with while let sum and while let okay, and I see their uses, but uh, if I'm writing code, I don't instinctively think to use these. Um, I'd always need some kind of prompting or correction on my code. So yeah, going back to the book, I think using the book is really the textbook way to do it. If you forgive the pun. So without this, let me just comment this out. Oh, sorry. Um, Commenting out in Vim is not my favorite aspect of Vim. No, what's going on here? Oh, it's because I got something selected. I think it's because derive is still selected. I think I need to have a bit of a refresh on on Vim. I'm getting a bit rusty on some of the. So here we go. Without that iterator trait, while let doesn't work and for item doesn't work either. It's because it's a custom type. Um, we'll get different error messages. Method not found in book collection, and book collection is not an iterator. So you get different error message, but the solution is just to do that, and then it works. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you want this code, I can put it on GitHub as a gist or whatever. But really, the key takeaway from this is that you you can do a while let loop or a for loop, and they both work. But for is probably more idiomatic. And again here, I've used ampersand mute mut, and that's modified the book spec in place, so it doesn't need to return anything. So that's one of the beauties of using ampersand mute is you don't have to return stuff. It modifies it in place. The downside, if I hadn't used a reference and actually if I took the value, I'd have to return the value, so I'd need to return something. So I'd obviously be returning self books. Um, the other feature of using the value rather than the reference, if you use the value, you can then chain methods together because they get the return value from one method can then get passed to the next method. But obviously, if you're using a reference, that doesn't happen. So yeah, there's pros and cons to doing that, but I think in general, uh, a, a mutable reference is quite a nice thing. So, any comments or expertise or experienced Rust users who can comment on that, I'd be interested to know. What do you use most? Do you use immutable reference, or do you actually just take the mutable value and then return it so that you can chain methods together in kind of a functional style? Be interested to know. So thanks for watching. I'll be back soon.